Okay, I am calling the policy meeting to order for April 13th. All policy committee members are present. I'll open it up for public comment. I'm not seeing any. Bonnie, any? No. Okay, so we're all good for public comment. So we have to approve our minutes back from January 12th. Did anyone see any edits or adjustments we need to make to the minutes? No. Okay, so then can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. On to our discussion and possible future consideration. So we have several policies that dropped in the past week or so. So we're just going to review them and what the updates are. There's not too many that have substantial updates. Most of them are just legal reference updates or some verbiage changes, things like that. But there are a few questions that we have to answer as we go. So the first policy, Exhibit 2140, guidance for board member communication, including email use, that was just rewritten in response to the Freedom of Information Act updates that were made. And it just excludes junk mail from the definition of public record. That's pretty much it. Any questions on that one? No, pretty straightforward there. Okay. Next, item 2, policy 2200, types of board meetings. So this one does have a required question in relation to the Opens Meeting Act about our requirements for special meetings to be posted at 2 locations. So making sure that it's posted here in the district office and the location that we'd be holding the special meeting. Dr. Barrett and I had discussed this one. The default on this is to answer no, so that we don't need to post it in multiple places. For us, our meetings are generally held here at the district office, so it's already posted here, so we thought it would make most sense to just stick with the no. Any other opinions on that one or thoughts?
So is there any thought that we're not going to be at this place? I know we experimented a few years ago. Just asking in case that changes.
No, that's a good question. Because we did talk about, so I guess first to answer your question, I think for the foreseeable future, we kind of agreed we're going to be here. And it's been working out okay. We do recognize that there might be times in the future where there's some reason we need to meet in some other facility. But we still don't think we need to do this posting thing because, candidly, this is a little bit of like a
Outdated?
archaic, maybe, practice, because we post the information about where our meetings are online, and you know, everything is so public. It goes out in all of our communications. It's on the website, and because this is our default location, the idea of posting is so people know that, like, know where the meeting's going to be, right? But let's say, for example, we had to have a meeting at South, and we built in our policy that we had to go post at South. Well, somebody would need to know to go to South to look for that posting, and the only way they would know to go to South would be if they already knew we had changed the location of the meeting to South by getting that information either from us here or, you know, from our website or whatever. Yes, sir.
So I suppose part of why I was asking that question, so before I came on the board, I would sit in the general public, and some meetings were at South, some were here. And when I was I wasn't on the board, but just as an interested party to see how things work, it was confusing sometimes because I found myself showing up at the wrong place. So I don't know whether it's archaic, but then there's a presumption that some people in this community are not as connected as we may think.
Right.
And I think that if there's something contentious, just imagine that coming up, and somebody will say, well, I didn't know because I was in the wrong place.
Right.
Do we have a contingency for those kinds of things where we don't make sure that the public has input, especially as we consider some of these, I should say, big items that we're talking about a few years from now? I mean, want to make sure we're not missing people.
Correct.
I know it's presumptive, but
No.
it's hard to say that, you know, some people may miss the boat. And I thought I was rather connected, but I'm just one person. But,
Yeah.
but I found myself at the wrong place at the right time.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said about we want to make sure people know. I think the idea behind this policy, though, behind this argument would be if our situation was reversed.
Huh.
If we regularly met at South, would we still want to post the information about meetings here? And the answer to that, I think, would be yes. If our regular meeting place was not in our district office, then we would definitely want to post regularly where that meeting's at and also here. But since our meetings are already here, you know, again, because I remember when we were moving around for some of those meetings, and it was complicated. But I think, again, posting at that location, somebody would still need to know to go to that location to find the posting. So what this was trying to say is, should you add in your policy that you're going to post it at your district's main office if your meetings aren't at your district's main office? But ours are already here.
Yeah, so I think about it like if our meeting, if we moved it to South and someone came here, there would be a notice that said it was at South.
Right.
But if they showed up at South,
Yeah.
we would be there.
Right.
So they would get the meeting anyway.
Right.
Okay, I want to ride this horse too much, but insofar that we are looking forward to talking about some rather things that are going to involve more community concerns, I would say, taxes and things like that.
Sure.
This would be inadequate.
Correct. We would definitely be meeting somewhere else.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah,
as long as we're covered, I want to make sure that
Yeah.
it doesn't come back on us.
If we get to a point where, again, for any of a variety of reasons, this space will not accommodate our needs,
Okay.
we'll definitely be prepared to go somewhere else.
And post it appropriately so
Yeah,
people will know.
exactly right. Yes.
Okay.
Because it would be posted here, we're going to post it here no matter what, and that's what the policy
Yeah.
said.
Like I said, you could drive up thinking that, like I did a few times.
Yeah.
And no
Be
one
like,
was
oh,
there.
this isn't right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
No, thanks for that discussion. I think that will become
Okay.
relevant
Yeah.
in the future. Okay, so policy 2220, Board of Education meeting procedure. So this one is about the board taking a roll call vote on all action items. So the default is no, you don't have to, and then we can opt in and say yes, that we will take a roll call vote on all action items, and then it says the board shall take a roll call vote on all matters requiring its action, including but not limited to questions involving the expenditure of money and questions involving the closing of a meeting to the public. So we were going to go with yes, because that's already the process that we have been following. We do take a roll call vote on all matters, and which does apply to those two. So we just thought stick with what we're already doing and have our policy match those actions. Okay.
You guys are overachievers as usual.
Well, that's Bonnie. We'll give her that credit. Okay, so then next is policy 2250, access to district public records. That was, again, updated in response to the Freedom of Information Act. And it aligns with cyber safety improvements and weeding out some bot or AI requests that might be coming in as we're advancing in some of those areas. Oh, that's item 4, policy 2250, access to district public records. So really it just talks about what kind of FOIA requests can be placed and how we can verify that it's not a robot sending that request.
Which has unfortunately increasingly been a challenge in some places.
Yeah. Okay. Item 5, policy 2260, uniform grievance procedure. This was updated because the legal references are updated and for continuous improvement, but no changes to the policy itself. Okay. Item 6, policy 4165, awareness and prevention of child sexual abuse and grooming behaviors. This one is updated in response to repealing an act in Illinois, so it just changes some of the wording, really. There wasn't much actual substance to the policy that changes. It just changed a couple of the words within it. The grooming part. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Item 7, policy 530, hiring process and criteria. And this one is just about that we're not required to cover every physical exam, or I'm sorry, if someone would like a second opinion, we're required to cover one of the second opinions, but not a third or a fourth if we are requiring a physical examination. So it's just kind of putting some more detail around that. Okay, item 8, policy 550, drug and alcohol-free workplace. That one we're going to come back to at the next meeting. We just had to get some clarification from our attorneys. It had recommended that we reach out to our attorneys so we can make sure that we're wording this policy in the most appropriate way. So we're going to come back to that one at our next policy meeting, and we just won't pass that on to the full board until after the next meeting.
So, question.
Sure.
I'm looking at that right now. So what's the sticking point on that? Is it the time frame or what?
Yeah, good question. What we want to do is make sure we can clarify what on-call means, right? And so who are we referring to, and which kind of employee group are we referring to as an on-call employee? And so in our preliminary conversation with our attorney, other districts are kind of asking the same question as this came out. And they're kind of drafting up just like an additional sentence or two that we could put in here that would clarify that for us. So it's unambiguous for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Item 9, policy 5250, leave of absences. So this one, let me just make sure. So this just included a reason for leave of absence related to a child being in the neonatal intensive care unit, and that would be covered as part of their leave of absence. So, there is a required question on this one, but it doesn't really apply to us because it's just if we employ 50 or fewer employees, and we are above that threshold, so we don't have to. We automatically default to have to include that.
Include it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, item 10, policy 5330, sick days, vacation, holidays, and leave. And this was just updated in response to an act change related to that leave of absence update relating to the neonatal care. Item 11, policy 665, student social and emotional development. That was really just like some grammar and verbiage changes. No actual legal updates, so just changing some of the words related to some of our policies that we have, so no big changes there. Item 12, policy 6100, that's using animals in the educational program, and that was just legal reference updates, no changes to the policy itself. Item 13, policy 6145, migrant students. That was just updated for the 5-year review. There wasn't anything that changed relating to the policy itself, just some verbiage and word changes, nothing more. Yeah, so instead of saying children, it's just relating directly to students of the district. Okay, item 14, policy 6170, Title I programs. So this was to comply with the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and we must incorporate district level parent and family engagement plans and school level parent and family engagement plans. So I think these are already things that we're already doing. It's just in the policy there that we have to make sure that we're doing that.
Yeah.
So no changes to actual practice.
Yeah, not really. It's changing, and this has to do with district or buildings that are, under full Title I programs, and historically those individual buildings would have to do something called a compact.
Right, the word.
Right, that's just the term they used for the plan you make to work with your community, and now basically they're just changing that compact verbiage to plan.
Plan.
So, but we got that.
Yeah, already doing that.
Yep.
Okay, so then we are at 15, policy 6180, extended instructional programs, and that's just updated for legal updates or legal reference updates. Nothing more, no changes there. Item 16, policy 720, harassments of students prohibited. Again, legal references updated. Item 17, policy 750, school admissions and student transfers to and from non-district schools. Again, just with legal references updated. No big changes there. Next, we have item 18, policy 6100, health, eye, and dental examinations and exclusion of students. That was just updated for legal references as well. Item 19, policy 7185, teen dating violence prohibited. Again, updated for legal references. There was some verbiage changes in the policy, but nothing to the policy itself. Item 20, policy 7220, bus conduct. This was just for board policy review. We have to do that on all policies. So there weren't any changes to the policy. Dr. Baird and I discussed it. This is a useful policy and kind of aligns with what we need it to do. So no necessary changes on our part at this time. The policy is helping us where needed. Okay, then item 21, policy 7230, misconduct by students with disability. Again, that's just for board policy review, and no changes that we need to make to that policy. And we're following everything that we should be there as we reviewed it. Item 22, policy 7240, conduct code for participation in extracurricular activities. That was just for legal references updated, no changes to the policy. Item 23, policy 7260, exemption from physical education. That one was just legal references as well, no changes to the policy itself. Item 24, policy 7280, communicable and chronic infectious disease review and monitoring. So that's another one that's just board policy review. Again, that policy is doing what we need it to do for the district, and no changes were recommended from Dr. Barrett or the district on that one. Item 25, policy 7300, extracurricular athletics. That's just updated for continuous improvement and legal references updated. Oh, go ahead.
So, just curious, this concussion part that they struck, how do we deal with students that are in a concussion protocol?
So we have a whole committee, a whole concussion committee,
Right.
And a pretty extensive protocol. So, that our coaches have to be aware of, and I can speak to this personally as a parent whose son went through this not all that long ago, and it's a whole different ballgame than what it was not long ago. So we're very thorough and very cautious about kids being able to come back if we've had any concern that the kid might have had a concussion.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a good thing to review for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then our last item is item 26, policy 890, parent organization and booster clubs. That's just updated based on a 5-year review. So no changes to the policy, and I didn't see any needs for changes and no recommendations. Okay, any questions on those policies before we move those on to the full board?
Just asking what I saw in the news not too long ago about a member of a PTO that was stealing money. So, not that would happen here, right? but what do we have anything to safeguard that kind of thing, or it's just kind of an honor system, or?
No, well, we do actually. All of our PTOs are 501c3s,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot more formalities and legal pieces in place than even when I started as a principal, and it was just, we had a random checkbook and kept an account, and they're very thorough, and you know, I know I can speak to personally, having been, well, all of you guys have been with me at different PTO meetings
Yeah.
where they sit and you know, the principal is helping oversee those accounts and making sure they're keeping track of those pretty closely.
I don't know, I didn't look at the details of that particular incident, but apparently somebody was asleep at the switch, I suppose. I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, then, so we will split these up then for policies 1 through 7 and then 9 through 26. So can I get a motion to move policies 1 through 7 to the full board?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then can I get a motion to move policies 9 through 26 to the full board?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, great. So then, as far as information, I don't have anything. I'm not sure what's going to be coming for the next meeting, but we will discuss that one policy and have heard back from the lawyer, so we make sure that the sentence we need to have is in there. And then, yeah, so we'll expect to meet at our next policy meeting.
I think the only thing I might say to that is, I guess I'll give a little apology up front that we weren't, like, the timing of when these came out and we weren't able to have that language for that one additional policy. Because I think there is a potential that the next time we have a policy committee
have
meeting, well, or there's a
There's
potential,
probably more.
or it might just be this.
Yeah, that's true.
Be just the one, and we'll have, because of the amount of time we have to get these updated, we might have to have a meeting to discuss just one policy. But if we do that, we could just kind of come real close to the start of a regular board meeting and just knock that one out if we needed to. So, but to your point, we might also get 50 more before that too. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and then we could also think if there were any policies that we wanted to take a look at or get ahead of, thinking to the year ahead.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That might be a great idea. So if you all have anything, please let me know. Like if you're thinking, because we did spend a lot of time this year on refining one policy, and that work we started in June. So it might be time, if there's something that we think is important, to start that.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Item 6, outstanding policy cleanup and review. We don't have anything there. So without anything else, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.